Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so last week we talked about polymorphism. And polymorphism is like existing of many forms. And did you guys follow what polymorphism is, or do you want me to repeat it? Like, did you guys follow what aggregation is all about? I was referring to an example. And what is inheritance and polymorphism? These are like really, really pillars. Like, even if you get 10 years experience or 15 years experience, you should be really well versed with these inheritance and polymorphism, or any interview that you attend, you should be able to answer it. So that's why I'm asking you, like, do you want me to repeat it, or are you guys clear till so far we covered, and can we move forward? You guys are not on mute. You can speak.
Uh, we are clear on that.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's move to abstraction. So look at it as what the method or a module does not like, look at it as what the method is or a module is, does not show how it does it. Okay, that means abstraction. Like, the way how we use car, like we change the gears. So changing gear is only the thing that is exposed. We don't really know how the internals of it works, right? That's why we go to mechanic and stuff like that. So this is like abstraction, like telling us what it is, doesn't tell us like how it is, like how the gearbox really works. We don't really know, right? We don't really need to know for using a car. That's called abstraction. Okay, think about interfaces in Java. They just expose the methods, not the behavior of the method. Okay, so that means what does a interface has is a declaration of methods. All this while we were looking at classes, interface is nothing but we just declare various methods. Okay, various methods, and implementation of it is given by a class that is implementing that interface. So why interfaces? Why interfaces is because Java does not support multiple inheritance, like two different classes can extend the same. Like, what I'm trying to say is one class can extend only one other class as a parent. If it has to get the behavior of multiple classes, that's not supported. That means what I'm trying to say is class A extends class B and extends C. You cannot do that in Java. So how Java supports multiple inheritance is through interfaces. I think we talked about it in previous sessions as well. Like, what we can do is you can have n number of interfaces defined, and the class can implement n number of interfaces. Okay, that means you declare three methods in interface one, three methods in interface two, three methods in interface three. A class A implementing all these three interfaces will have all the nine methods, and you can give a new life to those methods. That means you can give your own behavior to those methods. Okay, getting my point so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So abstract class. Say for example, four-legged animal is an abstract class. We don't know. Like, there are so many, right? Cat, rat, so many things. Cow, buffalo, all this. So giving minimal details is called abstraction. Fine. So how do we define an abstract class? There will be like, we'll talk about that once we see the examples. Public abstract class. Okay, something like that. Let me actually create the project and show you a little bit before we see the examples. Okay, so while we are talking about abstract class, I just want to enforce few more things which are like possible interview questions for you guys. Okay, sample abstract class. Okay. So abstract class, abstract class, four-legged animal, and it can do what? What kind of methods it can do, right? It can do walk. Okay. See here, what it is saying here. The method requires a body instead of a semicolon. It's if it is interface, we do that. If it is class, we have to give the body. Okay. So what is the difference? Like we created this class, four-legged animal versus this class, right? We had this class before. What is the difference? We have the keyword here defined as, we have the keyword defined as abstract. Okay. What does that signify? Abstract class is nothing but we only know minimal details, and the class that is extending the abstract class will give more details. Okay. The class extending the abstract class gives the more details was the idea. That is called concrete class actually. Okay. See here, concrete, say rat, and what does it extend? Okay. So rat extends four-legged animal. That means it has all the behavior of four-legged. But what is the purpose of a concrete class? What is the difference between an abstract class and a concrete class? This is the most important thing. Okay. Abstract class, where you give only minimal details, and if you look at the body of this class, you can also give some behavior like which you think as the default behavior for all the four-legged animals. But the proper implementation of it that gets executed is like something that has to come from concrete class. What I mean here is like, okay, though you have an abstract class, you cannot use it directly like without a concrete class that is extending an abstract class. That means you cannot instantiate a abstract class. That's the key difference here. Okay. So though you have four-legged abstract class, let me write a main method in here. Okay. Like how we did for all other accounts, all other classes that we did before. Let's see. Are you guys with me so far? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is probably you guys must be aware of it already. Okay. So you cannot do an instance of it like this. See, cannot instantiate the type for like the reason being it's an abstract. That means somebody else will give the implementation details, and that is even more concrete than the keyword abstract. Okay. So you cannot instantiate that, remember that. And then another question can be, okay, you said it's an abstract, but I don't really have any abstraction in here. I am going to give uh, all the implementation in here. Sure, give it, but it's going to be default, which has to be invoked from the concrete class. That means when you say abstract, it can have at least one abstract method, or it need not have any abstract methods. Okay. It can have one abstract method, or it need not have any abstract methods. It's not mandatory. Okay. But purpose of the class why we created abstract is because we don't know more details about it. So that's why we generally, as per design, we want to put abstract methods in place, but there is no hard and fast rule that you need to have a abstract method if the class is an abstract. Getting my point so far? Okay. So there is no need for it to be abstract. That's the thing I want to mention. And one other thing is, other day we talked about final, right? String class final being final, and it is immutable and all that stuff. And one other popular question when I was learning Java was, can a class be both abstract and final?
No.
Somebody said yes.
No.
Why?
Mm.
You want to talk?
Abstract class cannot be subclassed, but sorry. Final class cannot be subclassed, but abstract class has to be subclassed
Yeah. So
to
it's
create
like
an instance.
contradicting each behavior, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why we don't. This is one other popular question I just want to share. So that's when they will know, like, the concept of abstraction and the concept of final, both. Okay, cool. Okay, let's move on. Encapsulation. So encapsulation is information hiding. Information hiding allows for implementation of a feature to change without affecting other parts that are depending on it. Okay. So previously we were talking about this public, private, protected, and all that, right? So that actually controls how the information is being hidden from others. Like you want to expose only what you want to expose. You don't want to expose everything. Okay. So that's called encapsulation. That's why this private, public, and protected. We have the matrix below. That's another important question as well. Let's see. Maybe it's a brush up for you guys. Right? Fine. Information hiding allows for implementation of a feature to change without affecting other parts that are depending on it. Okay. While we are here, let's talk about those access specifiers. Okay. So we have four: public, private, protected, and default. That means we don't specify anything, right? So the thing is, this particular specifier, these are called access specifiers. Okay. And encapsulation, what did we speak about encapsulation? It's nothing but information hiding, right? So when we are talking about information hiding, it can be on the state or behavior. Okay. So that means I know about myself like nobody else knows, right? That is called private behavior. So that's like in my class, I am going to keep it as private, so nobody else knows about it, or there can be secrets that I cannot share about my family with others. So that kind of information is called state, and we keep it as private. Okay, so I'm just correlating it with the real life example. So those kind of information, or if you are talking about bank account, so all the bank account balance and all this can be exposed, but who is holding it, what SSN number it is holding it, all those are private, right? Those are all encapsulated information we didn't want to expose to anybody. Like bank account balances can be exposed, like somebody who is scraping your bank accounts, like some third parties, they can get your balance account and details and balance and all that, but they cannot know like your SSN number. Okay, so that's encapsulation, like you want to keep those private. Okay, and if you look at these specifiers, we can talk about these specifiers on three different levels. One is at class level, one is at attributes or state level, another one is at method level or behavior level. Okay, fine. What is it? Okay, so did any of you try creating a class as private?
It will be better.
Can we create a class as private?
Mm.
That's the answer. You want Somebody said something, but I could not hear it properly, so that's why I'm asking
No,
again.
No.
We can create a private class. Why?
We cannot access
class
it.
is an object which has to be means uh, it cannot be means because objects do get shared means they create particular things, so we cannot make a class as private.
Like what? Like I didn't want to share. What happens?
Means like If we take an example,
Mm-hmm.
we have created a classes of students,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to means we create an objects, and different things come out. We cannot means if we create a class as private, we cannot share those objects, or we cannot um, inherit something from anywhere. Means we cannot make them inherit in another class also.
Okay, yeah, yeah, you're right. But
I'm not getting words
inheritance, yeah, yeah,
out of
inheritance
it.
is not even like we are going for like extending something else, right? Forget about that. Even class loader will not be able to identify it. Okay.
It's not visible even.
Yeah, so it's like even for class loader to see invoke main method, it will not know. That's the reason it's not allowed and it's illegal in specifying private as a class specifier. Okay. And then protected, you cannot have it at the class level as well. You can have only public or default access. Okay, fine. Like anything that is restricting class loader also to look at the class, we don't allow it. That's fine. So at the class level, you can have. So what did we understand now? At the class level, we can have only these two. Okay. So then let's talk about method level. Method level doesn't matter, right? You can have anything, like hiding the behaviors, right? You can have public, private,
Or
protected, and default. Fine, doesn't matter. Okay, anything can be there at the method level and at the attribute level. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this is all within a class we talked about. Okay, now what about we talked about inheritance last week, right? Okay, so in inheritance, how does this matter? That means one class, like what we said, inheritance is class A extends class B, right? Extends class B. So that means anything that is part of class B, we said is going to be inherited. No, but we want to control it, right? We don't want to be like exposing everything to everyone. So to control it, we have these access specifiers ruling the thing that what can be shared and what cannot, what can be inherited and what need not be inherited by using these access specifiers. Okay, so now to know this, you got to know a little bit about packages as well. Okay, so this is a package. Okay, so creating a class outside the package is also allowed, but it's not like always Eclipse complains like it's a bad practice. You got to always create a class within a package. Package is nothing but what? It's just collection of objects, and we logically put them in a folder. Think of it like a folder. Okay, we want to logically put those. Like when I look at it, I need to know like, oh, this is related to abstraction. Okay, something like that. Fine. Let's move on. Okay. So now you got to know package is like collection of classes. Good. So now class A extends class B, and if there are like private members of class B, you cannot inherit those. Okay, private cannot be inherited in inheritance. Okay, that being said, what about default? Default can be extended only if the subclass is within the same package. Getting my point? Like like default members of this four-legged animal can be extended by rat because it is in the same package. Okay, default is we don't specify any access specifiers, right? Like when I was learning, most of the people who already know C++, they were like, default is public, right? Why are we talking about default at all? No, default is not public in Java. Default is default, no specifier there. Only those can be extended by any other subclass that is in the same package. If I create rat in a different package, default members are not available. Okay, fine. Then let's talk about, we talked about default, we talked about private. Good. What about protected? Okay, protected is also similar to default, but a little bit more feature there. Okay, default enforces a logic that it has to be in the same package, but protected is even more friendly. What it says is, okay, if you are a subclass, no matter whether you are in the same package or a different package, I'll let you see the information which is marked as protected. Okay, so that's the thing. If I stay at my home, or I say with my parents, I know some information about them, right? So that's like protected. Okay, so uh, that's the thing. Like protected is little more compromising than default. That means it let you share the information outside the packages as well. Cool. And then public is public. Like it's available for everyone, whoever has access to this instance. Anybody can access all the members of that particular method, particular method or state or anything. Okay. Are we clear? This is very important actually. Any confusion?
No.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Brinda. I just saw you join. Okay. So we were just starting on, like, we just started on finishing up abstraction and encapsulation. I started the recording as well. You can probably look at it. Mm, yeah. Okay. Difference between abstraction and encapsulation. What is the difference, right? Encapsulation is information hiding. Abstraction means working on a higher level. Okay, not worrying about the internal details. They go hand in hand, but actually, the like abstraction is like giving minimal details, not letting them hide it. But how we can do minimal details is by using the encapsulation. Okay, not exposing anything and everything. So they go hand in hand. Fine. Interface. Okay. What is an interface? Interface is radio or tape. These are like interfaces. Like they can do bunch of stuff, right? Radio can do what? Like you can listen to music, you can change the station and all that stuff. And how each of the models, like Samsung, any of these models can implement that original radio concept is a different thing. Okay, so that's why they let you extend it. Okay, and you can combine these two. Like radio, think of it as a, independent component. Tape, you can think of it as an independent component. You can combine these two and dual player, right? Radio and tape record go hand in hand. That's how they can. So think of these as interfaces, and two in one is nothing but a combination of it. That means a class implementing both. Okay, that is called um, that gives out a common thing called two in one. Okay, in this case, but in general, if you think about two different interfaces and a class implementing those two interfaces can get behavior of all of both the interfaces that we are talking about. Okay, fine. So understanding objects, reviewing the history of objects. Okay, creating a new type such as date. Say for example, public day, class date, int day, month, and year. Declaring a variable, is like, okay, you can have class and you can separate the variables like this. Okay, and accessing the members, that means, okay, you have a my birth as a reference variable. To access the members of it, you can do like my birth dot day, because this. So that's how you are accessing the members and setting some values. So this is just to understand the object. You guys know it already. Right. Creating an object. Declaration of primitive data types allocates memory space. Declaration of non-primitive. What are primitive data types? Primitive data types are like all these int, long, we declared, right? We discussed, right? Int, long, byte, and all those are like a primitive variables if you are talking about 64-bit and all that. But in Java, everything is an object, right? we don't talk about primitives, right? That's a language. But when you started oops in the last class, everything you should think about is in terms of objects and classes and interfaces, nothing else. um, Exceptions and all that. So, okay, if that is the case, all these primitives should also be converted to objects, right? So, when they say like declaring primitive types just allocates the memory space. That means we are just using certain bits and pieces of memory. Declaration of non-primitive types does not allocate memory space, which is the advantage. Like you just instantiate an object, doesn't allocate the memory space yet. It just defines a namespace. Once you start setting the values to it, that's when it starts allocating the memory space, or during runtime, depending on lazy loading and all that. Okay, so declared variables are not the data itself, but references to that data. So that's why we go towards object-oriented programming, right? Okay, you have a memory. If it is C plus C programming, anything and everything that you declare is actually start consuming the memory. Instead, that's why memory management is one advantage in Java we discussed, right? So, okay, you declare a constructor, you declare an object, you instantiate an object, nothing happened yet. It did not start consuming anything yet. Okay. Once you set values to it, that's when it starts consuming it. That's an advantage in terms of memory. Right now, memory is not that costly, but at that time when they started Java, memory was really expensive. Okay. Creating an object memory allocation and layout. A declaration allocates storage only for a reference variable. Okay, so that means, okay, today because this, so it just allocates, but nothing is being used yet. Okay, so that means there is an identifier called today. That's all. We don't know anything else. Assignment of a reference variable. Consider the following code fragment, like int x equals this, y equals this. So this is nothing but actually you're setting some values to your reference variable. These are all you guys know. I'm just wrapping it up. Okay. So we talked about constructors, like methods used to initialize an object, method name same as the class name. We talked about all this. Is it something new for you guys, or we talked about it last week? Did we talk? Are you guys aware of a constructor?
Yes.
What is the
I'm
difference
aware
between a
of that.
constructor and a method?
There is no return type for the constructor, and it's called when an object is created. A default constructor is called when an object is created.
Okay. What about parameterized constructors?
The same. When you call parameterized constructor, when you instantiate an object with parameters, the parameterized constructor is called.
Okay. And do we have to explicitly create the default constructor or no?
No, the compiler will generate further.
When you have parameterized constructor, also compiler will generate?
No, we have to externally
Right down. Okay,
create the
cool.
constructor.
Okay, let's move on. You guys know all this then. Please stop me if something is not clear, or if you guys think it's not covered. Okay, I'm just going through the slide. Okay, rules for constructors. Constructors can use any access modifier, including private. Remember this. Okay, the constructor name must match the name of the class. Constructors must not have a return type. It is legal to have a method with the same name as a class, but that does not make it a constructor. Okay, this we are very clear. Maybe the first one you guys may ask me, like, do you know, can we make a constructor as private?
Mm,
Did you ever see a constructor as a private? Any of you?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, actually, if you heard about something called singleton pattern, uh, one way of doing a singleton pattern is using a private constructor. Like, all we are trying to do is, not everybody who has access to this class can actually instantiate an object. Okay, That means I have a test class, and I should not allow anybody who has access to this test class to create an object. Right? All I want to make sure is, okay, I need to create an object. What I will check is, oh, okay, if there is an instance already existing in the JVM, I don't want to create it again. Okay, I may let you create one first time by calling an something called object.getInstance. Okay, object.getInstance. There I give the behavior. Oh, if the instance already is not null, I create an object. If instance is not is already not null, I will not let you create a new object. I'll just return the same object. Idea is to make sure you can have only one object instance per JVM. Okay, that's when you control it using the constructor like this. Like you are here rat, but I'm going to say like private rat. Okay, private rat. So that's when if I have a class like this, okay, so here if I have a class like this, I want to extend rat, I want to instantiate it. See, I cannot create a new instance of a rat here. See, it says like the constructor rat is not visible, right? So that means I am going to construct like I'm going to expose a method called like this. Yeah, so okay, see here, why do we need to create static as this method? You guys should be able to answer this. Rest all I will talk about it, but you guys at this point should be able to talk why this needs to be static.
Static
So
variables
that
cannot
if
be
it is
accessed
changed
by
once, it should be in whole program the same.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about this one. I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about why get instance method should be static. Come on, you should be able to answer it by now. No? Okay.
No.
Yeah. So the thing is, we did not create an object, right? If you have created an object, then you can call non-static methods in that class. But this method is used even before creating an instance. You do not let anybody create an instance. So outside world can access you only by invoking dot get instance, right? Okay. So what you can do is you can just say rat dot get instance. That's how you're exposing it, because otherwise if it is not static outside world, if there is no instance of it, you will not let you access that method. Even the reason why public static void main is static, the reason being whether an object exists or not, you want them to actually invoke class loader to invoke that method, right? That's why it is static. At that time there is no instance of the class yet. The same concept holds here. Am I making sense to you guys?
Can you come once again, Ravi?
Once again, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, rat object is we stopped we tightened it up not to do rat equals to rat. Okay, if I did not put it as static, what happens? If I did not put it as static, how will I invoke that method? How will I invoke that method? I cannot, right? Because I need to create an instance of it, and by making it private, you did not let me create an instance of it. So how am I going to access that? If it is not, if it is static, I can access that because I know the name of the class. I can access your method. Even public static void main, you can just say public void main, right? Why did we put it static? Did you follow on that part before talking about this? Why main method is public static void main? Why not it is static? Do you know the answer for that, Rini?
Yeah, because static means it can be invoked by different objects in throughout the package everywhere.
Different objects.
Object
Uh,
of the same class,
Different objects of the same class. Hmm. Okay, forget about the objects. I don't have different objects. Now talk about it. I don't have any other
Static
object.
is something which is like, if I'm created this public static void main string argument, this is the main invoker of any object, right? So it
This
gives
is
that it will
no
be
no no
constant everywhere.
no. Let's use object and class very discreetly. Okay, very discreetly. When you say anything as static, it has nothing to do with the object. It is related to only the class. Any static member is related to only class. Okay. So as
Okay.
you said, without even executing anything else, we have to start invoking main method. That means if you consider it in the JVM, we cannot create an object of it, right? We cannot create an object of it yet because nothing else is being exposed in this. There is like a default constructor is there, but we are not invoking default constructor. This is the point of execution of the program, as you said, right? But to invoke that method for the class loader, what happens is it has only members of it knows only the name of the class, right? Because you are saying Java test private constructor. That means JVM only knows the name of the class that you gave. What it needs to do during runtime, it has to load that class and it has to invoke something which is public static void main in this case. It has to invoke that method. That's where the point of execution starts. How it starts? Because it is a static member. Okay, it has nothing to do with any other objects or anything. It is point of execution for that class. Okay, public static void main is the point of execution for that class. Good. So it is a class level member and no need of an object being created. We are clear here, right? Are we clear about the public static void main here?
Yep.
Yeah. Then let's look at this one now. Here, if I don't have it as static, how else will I instantiate rat outside the class rat? No way, right? Because I cannot create an object of it. So I cannot invoke non-static members of that class. Is it making any sense? No? Are you here?
Yes.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah. So what I'm saying here is, if you have a non-static member, how can you invoke a non-static member? Only if you have an object of rat. Okay? Only if you have an object of class rat like this. Okay. Okay. Only if I have object instance of rat like this, like a reference variable, then I can invoke the non-static members. Otherwise, I cannot invoke the non-static members of that class, right? So if I were to invoke a method without even creating a rat object, I have to make it as static. That's the reason this is static. Are you following, or you still have questions? Are you following?
Is it singleton, the rat class?
Say that one more time. Can you be a little louder?
Rat is that class is singleton?
Yeah, but we need to add a little more for singleton. This object instance creation is singleton. It lets it looks at like whether an instance is null or not, and then sets it. Yeah, this is the singleton implementation. But you got to implement little more. Like you got to implement clonable, and don't let anybody clone your object. That's when you can make sure you can have only one instance per JVM. Yeah, but this constructor, this is how a singleton is implemented. But you got to make like you got to revert back to how I implemented it originally. Okay.
That static variable must be also private, right?
Say that one more time. You were really really low. I need to be like, probably got to get closer to the mic.
That static variable should also be a private.
This one
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You can do it. Doesn't matter. Yeah. You had a point like okay, they can just say rat dot rat if it is a public, right? That was the point you're trying to make. But that's okay. It's either through get instance or here you're going to refer to the same instance. Doesn't matter. You can make it private for extra protection.
If it is public, can I create anyone can create more instances, right?
How?
I can access the public variable outside,
Yeah, and
and
you're
I
not
will
creating an object,
make.
right? You're just you will be able to access only this particular
Okay.
reference variable. That's all.
Uh,
But you're
okay.
not saying like new instance, right?
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. But this is taken care anyways. Like this is like state of it. This is just storing the state of this variable, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Rini, were you clear? Like that shows like how oops is confusing, but you should be really, really clear on these foundation things. Okay, fine. Can we move forward?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Constructor rules. Still continuing some more probably. I just want to make sure enforce these so you guys can ask questions if you have any problem. If you don't type a constructor into your class code, a default constructor will be automatically generated. That we know already. Okay. The default constructor is always a no argument constructor. And if you want a no argument constructor and you have typed any other constructor into your class code, the compiler won't provide the no argument constructor. Every constructor class has as its first statement either a call to an overloaded constructor or a call to a superclass constructor. Although remember that this can be inserted by the compiler. So what they are trying to say here is, okay, in here, though we have this constructor like this, first call, whether you like it or not, it's going to be super. That means a super class constructor. If it has a no, like it's an abstract class. You can ask me, oh, why do you need to call super? That's okay. But all these classes are instances of object class. Okay. Java has a class called object. All right. Everything, any class that you create is by default an instance of a object class, extending an object class. Okay. So probably it will invoke a constructor within this. That's all. But any constructor should have a super invoked, and you need not put it, but compiler will put it. If you have a no argument constructor, also you got to explicitly call super. And if you want to call no argument constructor of a parent class, you got to explicitly say super and pass those overloaded arguments. Right? Stop me wherever you are not following my explanation. The only way a constructor can be invoked is from within another constructor, not from a method. But you cannot call a constructor within a method. It is illegal. Okay, this is an overloaded constructor. This is what I was referring to. Sample class extends parent class and super this comma this dot test. Okay. Then class variables are nothing but static variables is shared among all instances of a class. Can be marked either as public or as private. Can be accessed from outside the class if marked as public without an instance of the class. Okay, fine. So public class count, private int serial number, static int count 0, public count, and you are incrementing the counter. Fine. Because the counter is not an instance variable, it's a static variable. Any instance can increment it. Okay, any instance can increment the value. It's not thread safe to do this. We can talk about thread safety a little later. A static method can be invoked without any instances of the class to which it belongs. Okay, a static method can be invoked without any instance of the class to which it belongs. Right. Then public class use general. So here we are adding up like we need not create in use general, we need not create an instance of a general class. Okay, add up gives like here general function dot add up. We are just invoking it by, we know this already. Inheritance extends keyword. This is a relationship is achieved through inheritance. Extends keywords is used to inherit a class. Okay, class employee, class manager extends employee. Constructors are not inherited. A subclass method can override the method of a superclass, that we know. That is called overriding. Okay, very important. What is overriding? That means a subclass object, a subclass can have the same method as the superclass, but subclass has a new behavior. We talked about it in polymorphism also, right? Existence of same method in two different classes or more than one form within a class. More than one form within a class is called overloading, whereas having the same method uh, in parent class and say subclass is called overriding. That means across classes is called overriding, within a class is called overloading. Okay, only multi-level inheritance is possible. Multiple inheritance is achieved using interfaces. I'm just reinforcing again and again, so you should not forget all these basics. Fine. Inheritance, method overriding, overloading, and overriding. Okay. So class employee void show details, and class manager extends employee. So void show details has two different forms within manager. Okay. So these two are nothing but overloading. That means here we don't have an argument. Here we have an argument. The only difference between these two is the argument that is being passed. So that's why it is overloaded. Okay. Whereas this show details method, which has the same return type, same method signature. So this parameters that we pass is called method signature. Like the way how this method is defined is void show details without any method, without any arguments is called signature of that method. So signature of that method did not change between parent class and subclass. Whereas if you look at it here, signature of the method changed. Parent class this has no argument, this has an argument. Okay, method signature changed. This is called overloading and this is called overriding between the classes. Okay, overriding rules must have the same argument list. Remember this, okay? Must have the same argument list. For overriding, must have the same return type, except that of Java 5, the return type can be of a subclass. This is known as covariant return. Okay, that's fine. That means you can have a subclass object also being returned. Return type can be either the class or its subclasses. Fine. Must not have more restrictive modifier. That means if the return type of this guy is public, you cannot do in the subclass as private. Okay, that means you cannot restrict it more because you are overriding it. All you can do is here, if you have um, private, you can do protected here, or you can extend it to public. That means you can make it less restrictive, but that's a security thing. If you one parent thinks you should hide that information, and child is overriding and retrieving that information, which is bad implementation, but it is legal. Okay, so you can make it less restrictive. Okay, but you cannot make it more restrictive. Let's see what we are talking about here. Okay, must not have more restrictive access modifier and may have a less restrictive access to the modifier. That's what I was talking about. Okay, you can make it less restrictive. That means private to protected or private to public. But here, if it is protected, you cannot make private in the subclass. Any questions here? Or you guys know all these already? Anybody around here?
No questions.
Yeah, no question.
Okay. Fine. Okay, move on. Okay, overriding rules must not throw new or broader checked exceptions. Okay, we'll talk about exceptions a little later in the next section. But what we checked exceptions is the exceptions that we know already that we can throw. Okay, I want to explain it a little bit more once we are at the exception there. But here, just remember that in the overriding, you cannot throw an exception like in the superclass. It says, say, suppose throws IO exception. Okay, and in the subclass you should not say like throws exception. That's like even more broader, right? Like IO exception is specific. Okay, but whereas exception is broader than IO. That means exception is a superclass, whereas IO exception is a subclass. So you can go further down and give more detail, but you cannot say higher than like say any exceptions that are extending IO exception you can specify, but any exception above IO exception like in general exception, generic exception, you cannot throw those. Those are like much broader. You can throw narrower. Okay. Final methods cannot be overridden. That we know already. Final is final. You cannot change anything, any of the behavior. That means you know the behavior perfectly and nobody needs to give a new behavior to it. That's the idea of final. Fine. All this while we were talking about overriding, let's talk about briefly about overloading. Okay? Overloading is existence of same form of the method within the same class with the different method signatures. Okay? Means reusing a method name but with different arguments. Good. Must have different argument list and may have different return types if argument lists are also different, and may have different access specifiers, no restrictions there, may throw different exceptions. Okay, so just be clear on overloading and overriding and don't get confused between those two. Okay? This is one of the most important interview question if you're attending any interview. Okay, then abstract classes. Okay, so we talked about abstract classes briefly in the beginning of the class. Okay, abstract class, a class which declares the existence of a method but not the implementation is called an abstract class. But there is no hard and fast rule that you should not give an implementation. You can give an implementation there. Okay, then a class can be declared as abstract by marking it with the abstract keyword. Okay, so see here, this is following the pattern like abstract class, uh, It has an abstract method, and it does not have anything like it can give implementation of draw line here. Okay, so any method that is marked as abstract, we need not give the behavior. Any method that does not have an abstract keyword, you can give the behavior. See here, an abstract class can contain non-abstract methods and variables. No need of any single abstraction being defined. Though the class is abstract, but everything else you have given the behavior. All you are controlling is not to create an instance, because abstract class we cannot create a object out of it. Only the class that is extending the abstract class we can create an object of it. Okay, fine. Interfaces. An interface is a variation of the on the idea of an abstract class. In an interface, all the methods are abstract by default. Whether you specify it or not, everything is by default abstract. And then multiple inheritance can be achieved by implementing such interfaces. Okay. The syntax here is, see here, all the variables are public, static, final within this. You can declare all these variables as constant. And then public int get transparency, right? So that means it is an abstract method by default. Somebody who is implementing this interface transparency can override the get transparency method. Okay, can give the new behavior. Interfaces are useful for declaring methods that one or more classes are expected to implement, determining an object's programming interface without revealing the actual body of the class. That means actual behavior is implemented by somebody else, capturing similarities between unrelated classes, okay, without forcing a class relationship. This is what I was talking about. Tape record is there, tape is there, radio is there. These two are unrelated, but we can club them together as two in one by creating a class which implements radio, implements a tape recorder. So we got a two in one by combining those, and there is no relationship between those two. Okay. Describing function like objects that can be passed as parameters to methods invoked on other objects. Describing function like objects that can be passed as arguments to methods invoked on the other objects. That means you can actually pass this interface type as a argument. Okay, so you don't know which object, which class that person is passing. Only during runtime we know the object type. Okay, we know the object type, but we can pass in like a function like objects. That means if I have if we go back to the same example of two in one, you can you can pass the type as tape. Okay, you can pass the type as tape. Only during runtime we'll know whether it is the two in one that we are passing in, or only the tape record class that is implementing the tape we are passing it. Only during runtime we can know about it. That's like object type. Okay, more on interface. A class can implement any number of interfaces. An interface can be extended, can extend another interface. By default, all the methods in an interface are abstract. Okay. So before we move further, any questions on interfaces?
No.
Okay. Okay. Package. We talked about package also today. What is a package? Like how to like what idea is what is a package? Package is like grouping of similar classes together is called package. Like for example, java.lang, all the basic classes that we use like um, string or system.out.println, all those guys are all part of java.io. Okay, so grouping like similar classes together is called a package. Java.io is all about IO operations. That means reading a file, writing to a file, writing to a console, all that. So that's how you logically divide the packages. Then what are the access specifiers of the class? We talked about this already. Access specifiers available in Java are public, private, protected, and default. Okay, so this is the matrix I was trying to explain before. Okay, feel free to, this should be remembered always. Okay, then string. So these are the, what are these forms of various forms of string class? What are these kind of constructors called? We covered it, right? I expect some response.
Overloading constructor.
Yeah, overloaded or parameterized constructors. Okay. Okay. So string class has all these kinds of methods like length, char, at, get, get chars, to char. So it's all part of that controlling case.java. You can just look at that example. Compare to, like if you want to compare two different methods, ends with, okay, let's look at that example. Probably I can share a little bit more information while looking at. Okay, these are all various methods. You can dig in. Okay, let's see. Okay, so probably all these are part of here. Okay, let's see what strings package has. Okay, this you guys know already. Okay, string, we created it in the last class. Oh, okay. Okay, I think that's about it. I have but where do I have that? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, let me do that. 1 second. Hmm. Let me copy all this, guys. Okay, first let's see string class. Okay, so what are we doing here? Controlling the class is okay, equals method. What is the difference between equals versus double equals?
Double equals compares the references and
Mhm.
equals compares the actual content.
Actual content of what?
The objects.
Hmm?
The objects, actual content.
Value of the object. Okay. 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 So control case doesn't have much. It has just the uppercase and lowercase values. Yeah. Cool. You guys can execute this. That's fine. Yeah. Let's move on. String buffer. String buffer has 16 bytes of buffer by default. And what is the difference between string buffer and string? We discussed this last week. Can anybody speak about it? Do we have anybody else here? I cannot hear Remy or Brenda. Are you guys here?
Yeah.
Okay. Can one of you talk about string buffer?
String buffer is not immutable.
Yeah. So what is immutability?
When you change the value, a new object is created if it is
Mm-hmm.
immutable.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not immutable, the every time you change it, the same value will be appended to the existing one. or the existing value will be changed.
Okay. And what are the alternatives of string buffer?
String builder.
Okay, cool. Fine. So I'm just moving on with this. This also has like you guys can look at all the methods and ask me questions if you have any. If I see any thing that I need to share, I'm just going to. Oh, okay. Let me share this. Here we have a substring demo right here. Let's see this. Okay. I think let's see all the string examples. Then we are in good state. Then just give me one more moment. Can anybody know why it is complaining here?
The file name is string buffer versus something, and the class name is string.
Somebody is really low. You guys have to come closer to the mic. Yeah.
The class name is different and the file name is different.
Yeah. Can we have more than one public class in a file?
No.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Let me just quickly fix this as well. And no quick fix on this. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So all I want to share something is you guys know string buffer and string builder already. I'm not going to talk about that. Reversing a character. Okay. So I have a string, okay, and I can to reverse it. Okay, I'm using a string builder, a string buffer here because it has a reverse method. But if you guys were to reverse a string without using string buffer, how would you do that? That's an exercise right now. One of you wants to write a code. I can share my give presenter access. So, or you want to write the code, or tell me now, like how you can print it reverse without using string builder. That tests whether you guys understood the looping things. That's a hint. Somebody wants to try writing it? Are you guys clear about the question that I asked?
Yes.
No? You guys don't want to try? Or talk about it at least, how you want to print it out in reverse. If you were to print out reversing a string to with the knowledge that you have with the topic so far we covered, how do you do that?
Using caret.
Hmm?
Caret and caret.
Mm.
and the length method, and the looping it and storing it in another string.
Okay. Okay, this is how I do it. Let's see. But will this help? Will this print out in reverse?
No.
Hmm?
System dot out.
Yeah, but that's not my question. Uh, the kind of loop that I have, will that print out?
No,
No.
Then what I need to change? Tell me.
so to get it in reverse,
Hmm?
a dot length I equal to a dot length.
No, like I think really far from the mic. I cannot hear you.
Initialize I with a dot length
Okay.
minus,
A dot length. Okay. A dot length. That's all. That's sufficient.
and I greater than or equal to 0.
Okay.
A dot
That's it. Will this work? I want everybody to be interactive.
I minus minus.
Are you guys at the system or no?
Yes.
Okay. That makes me a little more comfortable. Okay. Fine. So
Dot length.
this works. Brenda,
A dot
does this work? I want to print out the string
a
in
dot
reverse.
length minus 1.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that works actually. But it is printing in different lines. How do you control it?
Print system dot out dot print.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's move on to a different example. This is reversing a word. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is a string tokenizer. Okay. I want to talk about string tokenizer. String tokenizer is a class. What you can do here is you can have like a delimiter. Okay. So if you have look at this string here. If you want to see how the execution starts, it always starts from main method, right? Okay. So main method do string and string a equals to this, right? And what we are trying to do here, we are capturing the original string, like system.out.println original string, and you're instantiating that string with a string tokenizer to a string tokenizer. String tokenizer is a class. Let's talk about it more. It has a method called has more tokens, and it prints the next token. That means it's going to print like it's going to print all the characters within the string as like tokens. Okay, that's one. And then we have another method called here do string tokenizer 2, which is also been invoked from do string tokenizer. Okay, and what does it do? It prints the result. um, this is the string, and it is going to like, let's see what is this print results to do. It takes the input, and process 2 is the method. Okay, I will execute this, then you it will make more sense to you. But before that, I just want to show how to navigate through the code if any of you is not familiar with it. So you're passing a string, and all it is trying to do is delimiter is this parallel pipe. This is the delimiter, right? uh, a pipe B pipe C pipe D. These are all the delimiters. That means what this process2 method is doing is it is taking the string, and it is taking the delimiter, and unless you ask the string tokenizer to give you the tokens, it will silently discard multiple tokens. So what it is going to do is it's going to delimit it. That means it is going to delimit based on this pipe. That means how many tokens you will have. You will have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 tokens. Once you execute this, you have 4 tokens with you. Okay, once you have 4 tokens, what are you going to do? Has more tokens. That means it's like controlling the length of the loop, like how many times this loop needs to be executed using has more tokens method. That means that is going to give you as an array. Think about it like an array separated out by a character that you want. Okay, it is a big string. You can separate it out by a character that you want. Okay, so it's going to say like, okay, if it is equals to delimiter, we are printing out something. Okay, and if I is greater than, we are incrementing I as well. If I is greater than the max fields, which is 5, that means we are trying to limit only with 5. Like if it is greater than or equals to 5, we are throwing an exception saying like, oh, it is illegal. Okay, let's execute first, then it will make more sense, and we can see each individual method one more time once you execute it. Okay, see here. First, go to main method. That's where the execution starts, right? And do string tokenizer. Okay, what did it do? Do string tokenizer did something like this. Is it clear for you? Okay, okay, let me actually so it goes to this method. String that we have here is this one, right? So it printed out this line first, and then original string, whatever string that you passed in, is printed out. Then you have string tokenizer, and st dot has more tokens. Here the token that it considered by default is space. Okay, if you did not specify anything, the token that it considered is the space. Okay, so that's why we got 3 tokens out of this word. Okay, the delimiter here is called space. Okay, fine, it printed out all those. Cool. Next, that method is just simple method, right? It just printed out the tokens. Fine, then it goes here. Here what it is doing, it is actually looking at input. Okay, so let's see what this method has to do. This is before going to this method, print result 2, what it does, it took the string as input, and it got an array, string array. How did it get a string array? We have to see this method. Are you guys following so far? Like I'm trying to navigate through code so you guys can be more interactive when I'm actually changing the code. Are you guys with me so far? Okay, so go to process 2
Yes.
here, and it is taking a string. All it is doing is it has max fields. Max fields that it want to see is 5, and delimiter is cap. Okay, so what it is doing, as we discussed before previously, if you don't pass a delimiter, it was taking space as a delimiter. But here we are passing a delimiter as cap, right? We define cap like this pipe operator as delimiter, not cap, and we're passing it like true. And if you want to know what the true is, you can do this like do it like this: return delimiters, delims. That means it's going to use the delimiter that you passed, and it is going to return tokens based on that. Okay. So, oh, okay. And another thing is, it is also including the token that has been returned also includes the delimiter. Let's look at that a little more. Okay. So here at this point, I want to see what is being returned. Okay. I'm going to debug Java application. Okay. So it executed this here, right? It passed in pipe. It passed in A pipe, B pipe, C. That's the input string that we gave. And after it executed, it has delimiters, like what is the delimiter that has been used is mentioned in here. The input string is here, and okay, value of it, right? Let's iterate through it, then probably we can say it. Okay, so I went in the loop. It has more tokens. Okay, good. And what is the token? First it is looking at A because A pipe B, right? Fine. I'm interested in the next one. What does it do when we say return delimiter, right? So see here. That means previously when we did without delimiter, see here, without delimiter, we just said new string tokenizer. It ignored returning spaces, right? It did not return any spaces for us in the has more tokens. How I am saying it did not return any spaces? Because it did not say a blank line. It did not show a blank line. Are you guys following so far? Like it did not show a blank empty line after Alex, because after Alex there is a space. If it would have returned a delimiter, we would have got that space as another token, just like how we are executing right now. Like right now we said return delim true. That's why it is returning the delimiters. So we are checking, okay, is it same as my delimiter? Yes. So then we are doing something in here. We are checking, okay, I want to check only 5 delimiters, looks like. Okay. So I is 0. So it is not greater than or equal to max fields. Max fields is 5. Okay. Fine. It is printing out my token. Then it is same as my delimiter and it is checking, okay, if it is it greater than my max fields? No. So at the end of like if I have more delimiters, then I will see an exception. Okay, let's run through it. This time I will not debug it. Okay, let's run through it. So what I'm trying to say here is, if your line that you're passing has how many delimiters here? 1, 2, 3, right? If you have few more, it is definitely going to throw errors. Okay, so let's see. Let's execute it this time. Okay, see, this is what I was referring to, right? Array index out of bound 5. Why it is saying array index out of bound? Why it is saying array index out of bound?
Because you have dignified particular length and it has been extra, means
Yeah.
that's why.
How it became extra?
Um,
Like I changed the string to this one, right?
yeah.
So it became extra because my string that I am passing is now bigger than how many delimiters it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 delimiters it has. And when it is 6 delimiters, um, it is greater than or equal to, if I is greater than or
Fine.
equal to max fields, it has to
Fine.
throw this. But before that, before even it threw that, what it was doing was it is trying to fetch r of 5. Like before it went into this condition, I is been incremented, right? Are you guys following? Like I keeps incrementing to check this condition. Okay. So after this condition is checked at the fifth time, when I is 4, when I is 4, I plus plus means after executing this condition, I value becomes 5, right? So what it did here, I was 4, 4 greater than or equal to 5, it failed, but it went in here, and it said, okay, it went in here and it is like results of 5, but our size itself is 5. Results of 5 is we are accessing the sixth element, right? We are accessing the sixth element because array indexes starts from 0. When we are trying to access the sixth element, it is trying to fifth element, it is trying to throw that error. Is it making sense? Were you guys able to debug the code or following it so far?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if we say false, you should not get the delimiter. That's what I want to enforce. Okay. Yeah. Try it out on your own. Fine. Then controlling it as string buffer reference a word. Okay. ToString example. Okay. What is toString? It actually prints out. Like you can say like this is the class, right? ToString example. What you can do is you can create an instance of toString. Like even if you don't say anything, if you put it in system.out.println, the code that gets executed is a1.toString. Okay, and it's going to print this output. The reason why we do toString for all the classes that we write in the projects is because it helps in logging. Like it will show you how the values are when that object is executing and all that. You can enable those debug logs and see. Like it helps you in identifying problems if there are any. It's a good practice to override toString in your class all the time.
Ravi, can you come again once again?
About toString or about how it helps in debugging.
Debugging.
Oh, okay. So this is the thing, right? It helps you in like it printed out like this, right? So it's a good practice always to override toString method. That means you print out valid values. If you just have an object without any constructor, if you say object.toString without overriding it, like even if you don't override it, it is part of object class. Okay, even if you don't override it, it is part of object class. uh, what is the value that it's going to print is something like this, which is like meaningless for us, right? We don't even understand what it is. Do you see that? Do you see the value that it printed out? So this is meaningless, but when you actually override it, when you actually sorry when you actually override it, when you are trying to print out, it gives you a meaningful value. That's why it is always a good practice in your projects to override toString. It helps you in understanding which class, what are the variables, like what are the members of those, like x, like what are the values of the state at that time, and you can debug it from there. Like, oh, okay, why is it this value? If there is anything invalid, you can identify it. And in the coding also, it's a good practice to always override toString method. Any questions?
No.
Rini, are you here? Like, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ravi.
Do you have any questions, or like, are you clear on what is toString now? Or
Um, yeah, I have to go through once. Then I will ask you once again.
no, what is there to go through? Like, ask me questions if you did not follow right now.
Um, I will ask you afterward. Let me go through once. It's
Okay, fine. Okay. I want to talk about substring as well with you guys. Okay. So substring, this is very important. Just remember this. If you want to just display only few characters within a string, then you use substring. Okay. When you just say a dot substring of 5, it the substring always starts with zeroth index. Remember this. Okay, zeroth index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means it is starting to truncate from m onwards. Okay. Then when you say substring of 5 to 12, it's going to substring from uh, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The tricky thing in here is first first argument follows the zeroth index. Second argument follows like how we do it in numbers. Like it treats it as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You see what I'm saying? 12. So you will get Michael out of it. You will get Michael out of it, but uh, not this empty space. You see what I'm saying? I'll not put this empty space. I'll cover this empty space. So now, if it would have been zeroth index even in the second argument, it's going to be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It should have been 12. H also to be included, right? But if you execute it, we'll execute it in a minute, it will not include that. So this is the zeroth index and this is the normal index. This is a key point in substring that I want to mention. Okay, and let's see, let's execute it. See here, original string printed out everything. See, a dot substring of 5. Yeah, a dot substring of 5, it printed out from here everything. If you don't specify the end parameter, from that parameter, from that argument that you passed, it prints out everything till the end. You need not specify the end parameter. Okay, then a dot substring of 5 comma 12, this is what I was referring to. Like it is zeroth index. First one is zeroth index, second one is the normal length, and then third one here 13 comma a dot length. What does it? 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from you it has to print. Yeah, 13 till the end. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Okay. Let's see other examples also here. And this is all fine. You guys can handle it. Okay. Beep date. Okay. So what does it do? Sole entry point. It just prints out the date. That's all. Okay. So it, like how to print date probably is what I was trying to show. Okay, it just prints out date. So the date is a class. Okay, it's part of java.util package. Okay, java.util package. Fine, let's move on. Do we have any other examples in here? Okay, nothing. Okay, yeah, probably this example can help anybody who has two string questions. Like this is one other thing I put, like two string class without without two string. Oh, this is what I just want to show. I displayed it to you already. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let's move on. One exercise I want to give you guys. I generally ask in interview questions for people whom I am interviewing. See, okay. This is like a frequency of this problem is called frequency of occurrence of words. Okay. That means, say, if this is the string Ravi, uh, Java developer Ravi. Okay. So if you see this word, the frequency of occurrence of Ravi is 2, right? Because here and here. Okay. Or if I have few more ABC Ravi, the frequency of occurrence is 3. Okay. So all you guys have to do is find the frequency of occurrence of an input string from a target string. Okay, from a target string. From a target string, like input string, you can choose anything like this. Like this. Like this is the target string. So input strings you can take like AVA, anything like find out various combinations. Okay, AV, occurrences of AV, or like that, combinations of it. But all I want to know is your code should work just fine if I give a input and output strings. Okay, your code should work for any inputs and any target string, like any input, that is any string of my interest, as what do we call good word, I'm looking for a good word, any string or any word. Okay, any word of my choice in the target string. Like thinking about it like you're searching for a word in a dictionary, or you're searching for a word in an entire newspaper. Okay, that's how it can scale. This problem can scale too if you want to later, but for now in the beginning of the sessions this is just 3. Okay, frequency of occurrence of words that I'm interested in. Okay, and anybody can tell me how you guys do it with the knowledge of a string class so far, and with a knowledge of string class and loops. This is only the minor version of it. If you guys give me an answer to it right now, I will make this problem little more complicated. But I just want to understand. Do you guys follow what I'm asking for?
Yes.
Okay. So if one of you is comfortable with string class, you would give me the answer right away. Then I'll actually make it little more complex.
We will take as one target string as string buffer,
Uh-huh.
and we will take as input as what means we will take two, one as input and one
Mm-hmm.
as target string.
Yeah.
As Ravi is the target. Ravi, Jay, Ravi, Kiran, Kit.
Yeah. Whatever.
That
Like some input, some output, you take as target. And how do you count the frequency is my point of interest.
we'll take a string buffer as target string, and
Mm-hmm.
we will take sorry what we yeah, we will take as a target string, and then we will take a loop in which we will take I equals to 0, and we will take each and every word to move through it, and if Ravi is equal to that, means that particular RAVI,
Mm.
then match it. Means I'm just you rough because I'm not getting everything.
Okay. So you're going to match it, and how are you going to check for the second one? Just tell me that, then I am aware that you know the logic. Like
Uh,
you asked me, you mentioned it as the first one, right? Like you
yes.
keep iterating, you're going to look at the word that is been matched. Good. You found the word, like you incremented the frequency to 1. Fine. Next time what happens? Next time what will be your loop counter?
Uh,
Or how do you identify the next string and increment it?
we can do one thing, like
Mhm.
means the number of RAVI, means it can be any number.
Uh-huh.
RAVI equals to 4, right?
Uh-huh.
The matching number is also equals to 4, right?
Mm.
So we will give a counter plus, means next we have to go, means 4 plus, if you
Yeah.
say, then
Okay.
it will go to J.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I got all that, Rini. That's a good effort, and it's all fine. Good. Look at my Eclipse in the left-hand side on the string package.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
Look at the classes on the left-hand side and my Eclipse,
okay.
and which one of those classes can make it like even more, much more simpler?
Substring.
Substring. Okay.
Yes.
And I want you guys to think about one more.
String tokenizer.
Yeah, string tokenizer can make it like in one shot, right? You can make whatever is your target string as a token
Okay,
and ignore the rest of the tokens. Whatever is the size of the array that you get, that will be the output, right?
okay.
Got it?
Uh,
Anybody has questions?
Can you come again?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, what I'm trying to say here is, let's see this. This is my target, right? And word of interest is Ravi. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, let's see if we can actually grab the size of token, count tokens. Yeah, this will even more make it simpler, I think.
Ravi,
Yeah.
we have to count word of interest token counts too, is it?
Yeah, like Ravi, how many times Ravi occurs in the target?
Yes, but we have to count RAVI,
Yeah,
means
yeah, one.
how we will compare, like Yeah.
So here the frequency it gave is 4 instead of 3, right? Count tokens. It said why it gave 4. One. It has to be 2 and 3 only, right? Why it gave 4? What does count of tokens does? So what was your question, Rini? Sorry. What was your question?
Ravi,
Yeah.
actually, I was thinking in different manner. Means
Uh-huh.
you have taken the help of tokenizer. I
Uh-huh.
was thinking of like string word of interest is Ravi RAVI. We have to match RAVI as numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again,
No, no, that's not the question I had. I had like this is the word of interest. You're searching for this word. Think of this target string as a newspaper entirely. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I think count of tokens we cannot use. I'm just thinking about doing this, which like looping it while string tokenizer dot has tokens. I thought I'll make that much more simpler. Next token or element. I need to see. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I forgot to put what's the element that it is trying to print, right? Let's see what it is. Okay, I forgot to print this out. Just to make sure we're on the right track. Okay. See here, token. This is the thing I want to show actually. Token is this, whereas element. That's why I wrote this code to keep it more clear. Continue as it is, but let's see what it is saying. Okay, let me just terminate it and rerun it. Okay, not to confuse you guys, let me actually repeat this. So next element, oh, okay, okay. Okay, sorry guys. Next string dot has. I'll explain you in a bit. Hmm. It's just giving me the individual elements when we are saying token, but that's not what we wanted. I wanted a little bit different. Let me just quickly see here. In this thing, we got the word, entire word, as A, B, C, D, E, and we were able to print here, right? There is no delimiter in my word. That's why it is not finding it out. But I gave the delimiter as pipe, right? So when I do it as pipe, it should be identifying it as this process2 method. Okay, similar to process2 method, I gave a line, I gave a delimiter as Ravi, and we are returning the delimiters as well. Okay, when we do that, has more tokens and next token, right? So it should be returning us the word as it is. Okay, let's see. You guys understood the logic that I'm trying to do?
Yes.
Yeah, but let's see why it is not working. Let me say that. Give me just one more second. So the token that we are trying to delimiter that we are trying to consider is this one. Okay. So the delimiter that we are trying to consider is this one, and we want it to return the delimiter as well. And no need of space also probably, but okay. Do I have to say true or false to this? Let's just do only this. Don't even do anything else and see the dealing. More tokens. I think this is fine, but let's see. So delimiters is this. Okay, let's see the token. Token. It is going to Java. Like, oh, that's why it is giving one. Okay, I don't know. It's a little weird. Delimiter. Let me think about it for a second. I am passing in as a string Ravi. Am I passing incorrectly the target and the words? String is the string that we are interested in. Delimiter is our word of interest, right? So constructs a string tokenizer for the specified string, and the space character and the tab character and the new line character carriage written. Okay, delimiter characters themselves will not be treated as tokens. Okay, delimiter characters themselves will not be okay. Then it should give us at least, okay, let's go to string tokenizer class. Okay, so this is the string. it's taking that as a max limit. Okay, then what does it do? Okay, so delimiting a string. Mhm. Mhm. So this should be considered as the word entirely, right? So we are doing the other way around. Like generally delimiter. Okay, say here if we have what are we doing here? If we have a pipe, okay, let's say if we have pipe. So this is our delimiter. The delimiter that we are interested in is pipe. Then how does it different? How is it different from what we are doing now? Okay. We're delimiting it. So now number of tokens. Delimiter is this. It's not printing it. Okay. So okay. Next token is what? JavaKiran. So okay. Next token, if we say it's going to return the delimited value. Okay. And then fine. So that means within the delimited value, whatever is there, it is going to show that. So that is what I'm trying to do, right? So I'm making this guy as the delimited one. Okay, this guy as a delimited one. Okay, and this guy as a delimited, and I'm going to say return token all the elements. So it should return the delimiter as well. It is just giving us Java in this case. That's the problem. It's just giving us R. I don't want just R. I want everything in that. Maybe it works only for pipe and commas. That's why. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't work for these guys. Anything that followed by string, it doesn't work. Looks like you can have a delimiter like space. Probably that's when it works. Yeah, it is bad. A good thing to know about tokenizer. See, this one works. Then this one gives us only two. Yeah. Okay. So this is giving us spaces, lengths of spaces. Yeah. Okay. So all I can do is I can just do this like Ravi. This is our target of interest, right? I'm going to add a space here, and okay. So what I'm trying to do is here we have a target string, right? Ravi, Ravi. So I'm going to replace, like string also has another method. Okay, target equals to target dot replace replace Ravi with Ravi space. Okay, so by the time we are here, we get a space in there. Okay, so that way, even if I'm looking at just Ravi, it's going to give me, okay, it's going to give me value, because target string has a space, so I will not specify any other delimiter here. Now it's automatically going to give me all the words within it, and each of the word I'm anyways comparing with my target string, right? My word of interest. So okay, let me show you guys what I'm speaking. Okay, so here, this is the next token, Ravi 1. So frequency of occurrences, it said, is 2. Okay, we just did the replace, but not replace all. That's why it replaced only the first one, looks like. Let's do a replace all. So this way you're getting familiar with a bunch of methods in a replace. Okay, I do a replace all, so now we'll get the right count. Okay, see here. Okay, so it did not replace all Ravis then. Okay, let's see what the target is now. Oh, okay. So now look at the string. So now it should work, right? I'm putting a space in the beginning and also in the end, just to make sure we get all the words discretely. Okay. So what I'm like, if I put a space, string tokenizer works. So see here, 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is the right count, right? But it is printing as 4. That's because I got to do plus plus I. Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to do?
Yes.
Yeah. Or I could have started with 0 and made it as I plus plus. Okay. I started with 1, right? That's why it was showing 4. Now it will be 3. Got it? So if some of you got confused because I was trying various options, let's see what I'm doing. So this is the string, my target of interest, and this is my word of interest. Okay. So I don't know, like there is no space, right? So string tokenizer, I was hoping of string tokenizer in a different way a little bit, but it's not that efficient. So now glad that I could share more information. So here I introduced a delimiter. The word of your interest is not a delimiter. It is not delimiting the entire token. So I introduced a delimiter. Okay, you need Ravi from this. I'll just prepend and prefix and postfix with a delimiter of my choice. Okay, so that's when what happens, all these words got modified to a delimiter that we have. So now we introduced a delimiter, so all this becomes like an array. Okay, all this becomes like a array. So how many words we get including delimiter? Like we get it treats space as a delimiter, so we get Ravi 1, 2, like this, and 3, 4, 5 words. It gives us 5 words, and within that iteration, when I'm doing, I'm just checking, is it same as my word of interest? If it is same as my word of interest, I'm incrementing the counter. Okay, so this is one way. Or you can straight away look at something in the string object itself. Do you have any questions on this?
Ravi,
Yeah.
I'm not getting why you using replace all target is equals to target as replace all. I'm not getting it.
The reason is if you give just a word as a delimiter, string tokenizer is not happy about it. It was giving me uh, each token like
Four. Four.
Ravi, like R, only R. That's why when I'm debugging, I was speaking out loud so you guys can follow. See here, like if I did not have this step, if I did not have this step, I'm just saving it. No, 1 second. Okay. So if I did not have this step, this is my string. This is my word of interest. When I did string tokenizer, there is no, like, it is looking for delimiters /t/n/r/f. That means it can honor tabs, it can honor new lines, it can honor space, it can honor line feeds. Okay, only these stuff it can honor. It cannot honor anything else, looks like. So I used to have a method at that time like this, right? Words of interest, and delimiter is what? Return delimiter true, because we are interested in delimiter word, right? Okay, this was my original code. Okay, then when I am executing it here, the reason, okay, when I'm executing it here, I was hoping it's going to return the entire words. Okay, it's going to return the entire words, but it's doing something else. What it is doing is, let's see here, when I did next token, it was giving me only R. It was not giving me RAVI. Okay, it is considering each and
Hmm.
every character here, each and every character here as a token, because it cannot
Okay.
identify a delimiter there. The
Okay.
delimiters, it is, say that again.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So now we are replacing it and introducing a delimiter myself near the word of interest. I'm modifying the input string to put something in the beginning and end of my target word of interest so I can identify it discretely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this is one way. Another way I want to show is something, look at it in a string class itself. Something to look at in string class itself. Let's see what we can do in string class itself. Actually, that was the thing I was expecting from one of you. Let's see. Okay. So what we do here is target dot. There is a thing called contains. Okay. Uh, but contains can only give either true or false for you, right? So the same thing, like we can do it this way.
Okay. So we can check word of interest in target means
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
target contains word of interest
yeah,
equals to 1 true plus plus how many times it gives true, right?
yeah. How many times you can do that? That's my thing,
Okay.
right? Like how many times, like you can get either true or false. You can check either a string exists or not, right?
Yeah.
But not like a number. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
cannot get like you have the like you can say whether this Ravi exists in this or not using contains, but you
Okay,
cannot.
yeah, target dot that's something target dot contains Ravi, then equals to 1 means it will yes. If it is, then it is 1, then we can add how many times it comes yes, right, using this.
No, how many times it will always do? Like you can get only once. You cannot get more than once. You can say like whether that particular string exists or not with contains, but you cannot say how many number of times it exists. But you need to do that. You need to do little bit more manipulation. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, okay, got it.
No, no, it's still not done yet. Let me see. So f- see here. If target, as you said, target dot contains word of interest. Okay, as you guys said, you can increment it to 1. Okay, you can increment it. But the thing is, okay, it gave you true or false, and it is always going to give you 1. But what I'm going to do is, while incrementing it, I'm going to remove the occurrence. Replace method is there, right? It's going to do replace first. Okay, so that means target uh, replace first occurrence of word of interest with empty. You see what I'm saying? First time you checked it, fine. First time you checked it, fine. Then what you are doing, you are replacing the first occurrence. That means first occurrence of this guy to empty.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
to empty. So then you got a first occurrence. Then the string becomes only this one, and now you're looking for first occurrence and again replacing that guy after setting it and after setting it. But this can be done in a multiple ways. Okay, either you replace it like this or bump up your either you replace it like this contains and replace it, or bump up your I like within a loop uh, for int I equals to 0. I'll remove this guy for a second. Int I equals 0, I less than target dot length, say, suppose. Okay, target dot length I plus plus. Okay, what you are going to do, you're going to bump up your I. Okay, so if I want to make these as words before even doing anything. Okay, okay. So I want to bump up your length if it finds anything in R. So the thing is, if um, target of I, right? If target dot char at I equals, that means to begin with, right? Equals word of interest dot char at of I. Okay, so that means, okay, char at of I, That means what you are trying to do is either you would do it this way or get the length matching the length of words. Okay, so target dot substring of I comma word of interest dot length. Okay, word of interest dot length. What happens here? You will get first four words, right? So this is the string first token. What happens here? Uh, you'll get the first four characters, Ravi as the word or something. If you have a different word, then what you will do is if those first token that you got is equals to word of interest or not. Okay, word of interest or not. If yes, you're going to say int counter. You're going to bump up the counter. After that, no matter what you're going to do is first this I is there, right? Increment I equals to, don't do I plus plus, increment I equals to I plus word dot length. So let's see how this works. So what happens here? You started with 0 and you put like you got the first four or string 0 1 2 3, right? You got the first four. You checked whether it is equal. Yes, it is equal. So incremented the counter. Next
Uh,
target of your interest. Say that again. Somebody has a question.
that increment of length, should we keep it in if loop,
For
if condition, or that length
um,
increment?
otherwise, what happens? Next four words we need, right? Like why do we need it in if?
If Ravi doesn't start with the
Uh-huh.
first letter is J Ravi,
Mm-hmm.
the target string is like that.
Oh, if target string is like that, okay. So if it is not existing, that's what
Yes.
you're trying to say, right? You're right.
Yes.
Yes. Good. So you want to put it here. She's right. Else we just do I plus plus. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So that's why you got to do first iteration, then you will realize all these mistakes. So first you're going to do is first token you're going to get, and then first token if it is not equal to word of length. But in that case, um, Teja, you got to probably look for look it up upfront. You see what I'm saying? If target dot char at I uh, not equals to words of interest dot char at of 0 continue.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like even
Yeah.
before, if it is not even matching it, we don't even want to go inside, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So here, what we are trying to do, we are checking. Okay, I'm iterating through the entire length of the string. Fine. I'm checking. Okay, if the first character of this word is same as the first character of this word. Okay. If it is not same, I'm just going to increment the I and continue. I don't want to execute anything further. Okay. Then, okay, if it is same, then it will come here, right? So
Yes.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, substring me, if I is 1 now, okay, substring me from 1 till word of interest dot length. Okay, word of interest dot length. Then it's going to give me word of interest dot length and gives me the first token. Okay, if first token equals to word of interest, like the word that I got, then I'm going to increment it. And if you want to make it further foolproof, okay, if you want to make it further foolproof, you have to do something like this. Further foolproof, you got to construct a character like this. Okay, character array. Okay, before I do all that, are you guys following so far what I'm doing?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So now, what I want to do is to make it more foolproof, because this is still not the good solution yet. To make it more foolproof, um, for any index of I that you are trying to do something, instead of just checking for char I, okay, instead of just checking for char I, just check for all the characters. But that is not required or required? Tell me that. Do I have to check all the characters of, like do I have to check if I check the first character of each of these, like where I'm incrementing, if it is not matching, is that okay? Or do I have to check every letter of the words of length 4 from the target? Are you guys follow with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So we don't need to check. I just realized we don't need to check. The reason being, if one character doesn't match, we are going to move anyways, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because we are moving in terms of length of a word. To quickly check whether that works or not, we can put J here, so that will show us whether that works or not. Okay. Okay, so char at of I is not same as this one, so we ignored it, and then we went in here. We were looking at, okay, substring, so it is matching it. So we are looking at next four words. Next four words. Then what happens? It's same. Yeah. I and words of interest dot length. When we say words dot interest dot length, what is it? 4, right? But it gave me only RAV. The reason being, we are checking from 1 to length is 4. So I told you guys, right? We got to be um, like it is doing 1, 2, 3,
Plus
4.
I think.
Yeah, plus 1.
Plus I.
Plus 1. The reason being, we want to do length of it is what, 4, right? But a second index of substring is starts with 1. So if I just do plus 1, that should be fine, right? It should
If
just
I
go through.
is 5 or something, it won't work.
Why? What happens then? Let's see. We'll go there. Okay. Why do you say when I is 5 it will not work? The word of interest length is always constant for us, right?
Okay, okay, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. If that varies, then no point. Okay. Let me restart the execution. So here is the thing. And next it gave us the token Ravi, and this goes through fine. Then here next character that comes in is not matching, so it goes through next character that it is matching, goes through next character, it goes through until we reach, yeah, here. See, I think substring of I. Okay, here. Okay, see how error prone this solution is when you use just the string object. Here word length is 4. Okay, word length is 4, but what we are trying to do here is it went till here, till the last one, I think. Okay, if you look at the console, probably it threw before printing. Okay, it threw the error before printing, so we cannot see the counter. But the thing is, it went till here, and what we are trying to do here is we said I is this, and somehow the length plus 1 went beyond the string length. Okay, went beyond the string length. What we got to do here is uh, okay, let's see what exactly, where exactly it's going up. That's when we can think about a condition for that. Okay, let's see. It is throwing string index out of bound exception somewhere. Let's see. Okay, so we are getting the target string, and then I is what here? I is 1, so this executed fine, we saw that. And then now I is what? I is 9. This is the problem. So I is 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. So it is executing it like 9. When it is 9, why would it be a word of interest for us? Let's see. I is 9 here, it seems. Yeah. I don't know why. Okay, substring of 9. Target is what? This one, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't see a point where maybe it is looking at a different string. It is not getting compiled probably. 1 second. Wait a second. That doesn't sound right because I even if 9, substring of 9 should not be a problem for us. 9 to 14, right? This is a bigger string. Okay, let me see why it's not compiling. Okay, so let me make sure I saved it. Okay, target and I is 1, word length is 4. So this went through. And then what? Target is this. I is what? Still 9. Target I became 9 because we kept on incrementing it. First it was 0, so it became 1, then it has to become 5, then it has to become 9. Oh, character of first one is, so this is the reason I was talking about. We got to check all the characters. If all the characters doesn't match, we may end up in this trouble. But string index out of bound is not the case for that. Let's say here it is saying like 9, right? Okay, I is 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 and word of interest is what? This one, 4. So word dot length is becoming 5. So, okay, okay. So, some Teja, you're following this. This is your condition. You mentioned that. Remember, what it is trying to do is it's trying to substring the class. Like initial parameter I gave is 9, but final parameter is 5. Final parameter is 5. So it is trying to do substring of 9 comma 5. The idea is always it should go up and up. You rightly said, if I is greater, it may throw error. Greater than 5, it may throw error. That's right. I ignored you completely. So here is the thing. Okay. So if we do this, then we'll not have issues. Okay. See here. So now next one comes and we are ignoring that totally. Fine. And then moves on. Why the first token is becoming the same all the time? Okay. Mhm. It is still throwing out of bound exception because even on the last step probably we are incrementing it by length. Let me see. There is an infinite loop. This is like a real error prone solution. String tokenizer is better. Hmm. Let's see. One last time we'll try see if we can fix it before we stop. Okay. Let me actually see what are the i's here. I is 1, fine. I is still 1. It's not incrementing it. Oh, because okay, I is 9. I is still 9. See, multiple iterations are going through without incrementing I. How is that possible? Uh, Okay, let me put it after this. 15. So we went through some stuff. Okay. 15, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here we should get it to 19 after execution, right? And what's I after this? It became 19, which is correct as expected. And then it should become 22, right? Okay, so now I should be 22. So 22 plus what it is doing, 22 plus 4, 26. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So, okay, 26, I'm doing plus 1 because it wasn't doing the right one. That is throwing the error because it is trying to do plus 1. Okay. If I plus word dot length, right? So this is what we are trying to do. If I plus word dot length plus 1. Okay. If end value is greater than target dot length, end value equals to target dot length. Okay. Okay. So and we always go with the I plus end value. Okay. It is still throwing that error. For what I, it says what string tokenizer main has an error in substring. Okay. I shouldn't be doing any I plus, just the end value. Are you guys here still?
Yes,
Okay. So are you with me or totally confused?
clear.
Yeah. Okay. So it is still saying 1. It is still saying 1. Okay. Why it is still saying 1? We have to see. I think this solution is far better than this one. You guys get that by now, right? Like the previous solution, string tokenizer one, and this one can be error prone. You have to check a lot of stuff. Instead, string tokenizer can do better for you.
Yes.
I'll see why it is showing 1, but I'll let you guys know. Go. I'll show it tomorrow, it could be another tweaking, probably some other condition that's actually failing, probably. Okay.
I think
Any
boundary
questions?
condition.
Say that again.
Boundary condition.
Yeah, always you have to do the end value conditioning. But I thought we had that boundary conditioning, right? That's why I'm capping the end value to length of the word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have that. Maybe it's not compiled or something. We got to see why it is failing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys want to stay on, you can see. I'm going to fix this right now only. But if you have some other thing, you can go. Like I'm not going to cover anything else, but just this one. I'll just fix this one. Okay.